My name is Carolyn Rohde, and I have 2 sons, 1 daughter, and 4 darling grandchildren. 4 years after my divorce, I was still wallowing in my grief and didn't know where to turn. When I stumbled across a BE weekend in Omaha, Nebraska, I had no idea how much my life was going to change for the better. BE saved my life. I served on the Omaha team and have been on the international board for 4.5 years. In my other life, I am the office and financial manager of a small manufacturing company in Columbus, Nebraska. I guess because of that background, I get stuck doing the money talk every year. So let's get that out of the way. I'm going to begin with a brief overview of the International Ministry Center's financial health. As you know, all nonprofit organizations are struggling to survive, and we are no different. In 2009, our deficit was $25,000. In 2010, it was $38,000. And at the end of the year of 2011, we were in the black by $7,000. We managed to avoid withdrawing funds from our reserve account by using money set aside for things like website development and other advancements. We as a board and Kathleen have worked very hard to trim expenses while trying to continue to provide the needed services to support our teams. A few years ago, the office staff was reduced from 5 people to the executive director and 2 part-time people to assist her. All 3, Kathleen, Nancy, and Betty, with help of many volunteers, have gone above and beyond the call of duty, working many hours that they have not been paid for. Unfortunately, it is not humanly possible to replace 5 positions with 2 and maintain the level of service that we had before. Many things, such as team and outreach development and website improvements, as I mentioned before, have been put on hold or are being done more slowly due to lack of staff time and money. The new manuals is another example of that. It has taken much longer than we anticipated to finish the new manuals that will be presented to you this weekend. Yeah, it is a weekend, isn't it? As you know, Kathleen is retiring, and we are searching for a new executive director. That has forced us to examine our strategic plan and our financial health, and it is obvious that we cannot survive much longer on the path we are on now. We must make some drastic changes to ensure our continued existence. So how is that going to affect you, our teams? Well, the first change will be that the new executive director position will be a 3/4 time position. The hours that the IMC office is open will likely change, and the office will probably be closed 1 day during the week. The office itself will be moved to the city where the new executive director lives. Kathleen and the board will work closely with the new person to ensure a smooth transition. The second major change will be regarding the regional conferences and the international conventions. The IMC office staff spends at least 50% of their time organizing and preparing for regional conferences and the international conventions. The past several years, attendance has declined drastically. In 2000, 264 people attended the International Convention in Chicago. About 80 people are registered for this convention. That's a dramatic change. As we discussed eliminating or paring down the conferences and conventions at a recent board meeting, someone said people are voting with their feet. But in discussing that comment, we realized that the more accurate statement is people are voting with their finances. The global economic climate has forced changes on all of us. Money is tight for most of us. Many of us are in jobs that don't allow much paid time off, or we are doing more work with fewer resources, and we don't feel that we can take more time off from work. Even though we budget our conventions and conferences to just break even, the cost of everything associated with putting on these meetings has increased. It is harder for teams to raise money to help their members come, And I'll bet everyone in this room, including the board, is paying most of the expenses themselves to be here today. We still have so many dedicated people that have been blessed in countless ways by beginning experience programs. And they are willing to be the light of hope for others walking that same path. Thankfully, that has not changed. I talked to so many people in my region that wanted to be here, but they couldn't be here due to work commitments or money. We all feel strongly that face-to-face gatherings like this with other teams are vital to the ministry as a whole, as well as to the teams. It is here that we connect with and learn from each other. It is here that lifelong friendships are formed. It is here that we gain enthusiasm and ideas that we take back to our teams to help us forge ahead even during the difficult times. So with that in mind, next year, we are going to ask each regional board representative to organize a day conference in their area. We will choose a time and place, and perhaps with the help of a local team, plan a day for learning and fellowship. We will include time for teams to share their ideas and interact with each other. It will be a simpler and shorter version of the biannual regional meetings that we did have. We will still have international conventions in even-numbered years, but they will be shortened to the weekend to lessen the expense involved and to allow people to take less time off from work. By paring down these meetings, we will be freeing up staff time for more team support tasks. The third and ongoing change involves how we provide team support. For several years, we have recognized many changes that we need to make. And if you have been to other conventions and conferences, you have already heard us talk about this. However, our limited resources have made those changes happen much slower than we would like. We are shifting the focus of our team support to provide more spiritual and administrative needs through online services. Some of you have already experienced things like the online board training. We realize these changes may create some challenges for you, but we hope that you will work with us to adjust to this new reality. This unique ministry brings us together from all walks of life. The loss we have each experienced binds us together with a single thread of grief. All of us are here today because we love this ministry, we are grateful for what it has done for us, and we are willing to walk with others through their grief journey. Our theme for this conference, Renewing the Light of Hope, is appropriate, not just for the participants, but also for what the board, with your help, is doing so our ministry can continue to benefit hurting people all over the world. You are the light of hope for those who will come behind you, just as someone on your team was the light of hope when you found BE. Thank you for being here today, and thank you for allowing God to work through you.